but like my knees would cave.
Oh man.
And then I'd like uncave them once I got up, and I was like, yeah, it looks good when I'm up here. What is going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new video with my brother John Venus.
What's up, guys?
Today I wanted to have John over here because obviously this guy's hench is fucked. So I thought this would be a good time to talk about things I wish I would have known before I got into fitness that would have probably saved me a lot of time, a lot of pain and suffering, and just made it better, more optimal. John, how long have you been lifting?
I'd say 7 to 8 years now.
Okay,
yeah.
so a really long time too. So
Yeah.
I figure you got a bunch of stuff to say as well.
Oh yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever made a video like this, so it's gonna be fun to
perfect.
like go into it. Yeah.
This would be good content. So we've got 10 things. We're just gonna jump into it right now. I hope you guys enjoy this. Make sure you go and subscribe to my boy. Link will be right there. Okay, so the first one, this one's really important, is don't compare yourself to others. And this one is something that I still do to this day, and I've gotten better at it and stuff, but a lot of times you're in the gym in physical life and there's people there who are way bigger than you.
Yeah.
And then you get bigger, but you don't give yourself any credit because that guy's so big. Now, back then when I started, there was no social media. Now that there's social media, you can do that every minute of every day and just always tell yourself that you suck.
For me, I did this a lot in the beginning as well, and it was more not like for the size, but like for how shredded or how visible someone's abs were. And when you're starting out, oftentimes you're like, skinny fat, or you have excess body fat on you and not enough muscle mass, so your body composition is completely different from the aesthetic Greek god physique that you want to get. So for me, I was always like, looking at those, chiseled abs and an aesthetic physique, and always like kind of like questioning whether it was even possible for me to get there. So yeah, it was not a healthy thing to compare myself to others. And once I stopped that and just put my head down and did the work, things just happened on its own. So the second one I'd say is don't take other people's advice with 100% credibility, because a lot of times, whether it's someone in your gym telling you something or someone online like a fitness guru telling you something, a lot of times it's bad advice, because like all of us have different biases, different beliefs, do things in different ways. And a lot of times these people who are telling you something haven't done the research to, have the actual, knowledge to say what is actually better for you or not. So I'd say, like, do not take people's advice with 100% belief, but take people's advice, but actually
with a grain of salt.
With a grain of salt, and then do your own research. Like, respect everyone's advice, but don't stop there. Like, keep digging.
Yeah, let them talk to you, but then go Google it and figure it out if it's right. Because a lot of people have a big ego and they just want to have an answer to every question. And sometimes you'll ask them a question and they'll just say something because they don't want to say, I don't know.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, so the third one, when I first started, I was really into like, what can I buy that will make anything 1 or 2% better, right? So don't waste your money on stupid supplements. Like, for example, there was something back in the day called Crealkaline, which was like a specialized creatine that was somehow better than the other creatines, which studies disproved. And then also, back in the day, there was things called like fat grips, and there's a lot of other like little accessories and stuff, and they do help sometimes, but you can do other exercises that will do the same thing. So yeah, don't just like waste your money frivolously on random stuff.
And for me, I fell in that trap, but with supplements most of the time. So I would buy things like Tribulus, like natural testosterone enhancers, and these things. Yeah, everyone. And other things like L-glutamine and multivitamins that have so much artificial and synthetic vitamins in them that really may not be as beneficial as you think. So yeah, a lot of supplements are just useless, and I see that happening all the time. When people start lifting, they just go crazy and just stack their house up with a bunch of pills. It looks like a pharmacy or something. Yeah, it was the case for me at least.
Yeah.
The next one is to learn better technique or form, even if it means like using less weights and not lifting as much, because a lot of times when you're new to the gym, you want to just go in there, smash it, really prove to yourself and to everyone else that you're a beast. But a lot of times that can lead to injury and problems down the line. So for me, I'm recovering from an injury right now. And a lot of times, it is because of a bad habit that you have. So I was doing squats and deadlifts with an anterior pelvic tilt. So my way of doing the exercises was completely wrong and caused me to have a herniated disc, years down the line. So if I knew what I know now, I would definitely make sure that I'm always doing light weights, until I perfect the form, and then increase the weights whenever you feel comfortable and your body's ready for it.
Yeah, I was guilty of this too. Like if I put up footage from way back, if I can even find it, maybe I'll put it on screen. But when I was like 16, 17, I just wanted to have the heaviest deadlift because everyone else in high school was also trying to compete on that. So I put like 3.5 plates on there, like 340 pounds. But like my knees would cave.
Oh man!
And then I'd like uncave them once I got up, and I was like, yeah, it looks good when I'm up here. So yeah, just be careful with what you're doing, and don't just. I guess this is what kind of can be boiled down to. Don't ego lift.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is don't be scared to use heavier weights. I think a lot of people are like, whoa, the 80s, the 90s, I can't chest press that. I'm a little guy, right? Mm-hmm. But also on the other end of the spectrum, if you are having a pain when you're doing a certain movement, don't just be like, I'm just gonna keep doing it until I get strong. Mm-hmm. There's a reason that you have pain. So kind of like, balance them, but seriously, don't get scared of heavier weights, because if you just stop at a certain weight, you'll never ever gain more size.
It's a mistake that a lot of people make.
Tons of people.
They don't apply the progressive overload principle to their training, and they just get stuck on the same weight and they don't see any progress. So yeah, for sure.
You gotta go in there intense, bro.
Yeah. Next one is make sure to warm up. So this is something that I was really guilty of not doing back in the days. I would never warm up, and I would actually just go straight into the heaviest sets, like on the bench press and overhead press and these things.
Same.
And that can lead to injury. Luckily, whether it's genetics or whatever, I didn't really experience any injuries from not warming up. But I know the older you get, the more important this is, and the newer you are to lifting, the more important this is as well. So make sure to warm up. The way I personally do it is either just go for a quick run on a treadmill or something, or I do the actual exercise that I'm gonna do with lighter weight, not heavier, and then just do that for 1 or 2 sets, and then go on to the working set. That's how I personally do it. I don't know if you have a different approach to it.
It's a really good point. Yeah, you see so many people go in there, they grab a little like half-pound dumbbell, and they're just like, good to go.
Yeah.
And I used to, just like you, I used to do that too, because you just want to get to the gym and go hard.
Yeah.
But that ended up causing a lot of injuries. Like, you guys know about my left shoulder and stuff, having a little impingement over time. So for me, with warming up, I always make sure I do some core work, because a lot of time when your core is not turned on, that's what causes you to have like messed up abilities to pull your scapula back and stuff like that. Yeah, so you can do any warm if you want. Figure out what works for you, but just don't go in there and do 5 external rotations and you're good to go for a first work set on your heaviest weight. All right, so kind of going along that same line is stretch after your workouts, and or just stretch at some point. Like, I feel like a lot of people just don't stretch at all. They lift and they're like, I look good, and then they leave because they're like, I look good. And like, if you don't stretch, like a lot of times, along with the workouts, but also with your daily lifestyle, if you work at a desk or whatever, your stuff's all impinged and pulled tight, your pecs are pulled tight, and your scapula are loose and stuff. So you need to like stretch those pecs out so they can have a better range of motion with pulling your scapula back. And everything, even your hips and stuff will get all like tilted, and your squats will look like crap. Yeah.
No, 100%, and it also helps with getting rid of soreness if you stretch a little bit as well, or do foam rolling or something like that. I personally do more, kind of like pose stretches. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'll hold a squat down on the floor and just sit like that to open up my knee joints and my hips and that kind of stuff. So I'll sit like that for maybe like 5 to 10 minutes a day. And then I'll hang on the bar, just like, trying to hang there for dead hangs for maybe a couple minutes a day as well. Nice. But that's pretty much it. But those are like actually cover a lot of your body. So those are pretty good ones to start with. Next one is do not let your core get weak. This is something that so many people get wrong, myself included, and I'm dealing with the consequences right now. A lot of people just don't remember to train their core. I never enjoy training my core because, it burns so much. It's like so painful to train your abs. It's hard. But, if you don't train your core, you can be prone to injuries such as, like herniated disc. For me, for example, that was partly caused because I had a very, very weak core in comparison to the rest of my body. Yeah. And obviously, like, everything else, like your core is responsible for so much.
Everything.
So if you have a weak core, the risk of injury on anything you do is going to be higher. So, yeah.
That's what I've been working on for like literally the last 2 years. When I went into my physical therapist for my shoulder issues, she was like, the reason that happens is because your right oblique doesn't pull your rib down. And so to get your left shoulder back, you actually pop your rib up. And so you do this kind of funky form. And so for the last literally like 2 years, I've just been doing like so much. I literally do 35, 40 minutes of core work before I actually get to doing my actual workout.
Oh, wow.
It sucks, but if I would have just not let it get this bad, I could have just avoided doing that.
Exactly. Yeah. Next one. always do a little bit of cardio. Now, this is something that is very, you know, personal, individual. But in order to stay healthy, I believe, and the science shows that doing cardio is very important for your health, for your heart, and that kind of stuff. So the way that I do it is going for walks. You know, almost every single day I go for walks. It's not really cardio, but it is something. Your heart rate is elevating. But on top of that, I also try to do, even if it's just like 10 minutes on the step machine or the Stairmaster or the elliptical or something like that, just because I just feel my body is way healthier that way.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, for sure. And then also, if you're training your heart in that way, when you're doing the lift and that kind of stuff, you get less tired, and then you can, you know, put more weight on, do more volume and that kind of stuff. Yeah,
that's one of the points I was going to make. But yeah, like even beyond just the cardiovascular health, which is important, but right, when you're first lifting, you're probably like, oh, whatever, I'll lift forever. I'm only like 15, right?
Yeah.
But also, it's just important to get your blood to move. And also, I feel like a lot of us only breathe in that bottom part of our lungs, like the first 20%. So it's good when you do cardio to breathe more of your lung capacity. It just makes it easier for everything. Like he was saying, when you weightlift, you do way better because you have better endurance.
100%.
All right, so this last one is, do the exercises that you're weak at or the ones that you don't really love that much, instead of just pumping in at the ones that you're really good and you're really strong at. Because the reason that you're really weak and not so comfortable in those other movements is because you're weak in those muscles, or you just haven't figured out how to articulate your body properly.
Yeah, no, engaging, like a lot of people will say, like myself, for example, when I started lifting, I could never feel my back working. So my back has always been my weakest body part, still is to this day, but I've been able to catch up a lot when I've figured it out. But I always used to, you know, not like half-ass my sets when it comes to like lat pull downs, pull-ups, and these things, just because I didn't feel my muscles contracting properly. I didn't get a good pump, so I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. But then what ended up happening is that I had an unbalanced physique, right? Because I was like, you know, had bigger shoulders and arms, and then my back looked really thin.
Yeah.
So it looked like a little bit unbalanced.
So that's it for this video. I feel like this one actually came out pretty good. Like, if I would have saw this when I first started, I might have been like, duh, on some of those points. But they're all really quality points that now that I'm looking back with hindsight, after like 10, 11 years of lifting, like, damn, I wish I would have known this stuff.
Yeah, same here, man. Yeah, this is useful.
So if you guys enjoyed this, I'd really appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. And even more importantly, I want to know what tips that you would give somebody, you know, who is starting out, even if you've been, you know, if you've been lifting for a couple of years. What tips would you have told yourself if you could go back to when you first started lifting? Yeah. And if you're not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe to John.
Thank you.
If you're not subscribed to me, make sure you subscribe to me. Thanks for watching, guys. Team Beyond the Week.
CT? Lift heavy or die Myron, motherfucker. Team Beyond the Week.